Hello Motorrider World fans, and we've got another special interview lined up for you here. We're going to be chatting to all the importers and manufacturers to see what's exciting with the brands ahead. We're now with Bruce Allen from Triumph Motorcycles South Africa at their brand new revamped store. So it's situated the same place, just off Marlborough Turnoff here in Sandton, but they've revamped it bigger and better, which is pretty much what all their models are doing in the range. So Bruce, let's just talk about 2020. Tough year with the tough times with COVID and that, but the Triumph brand actually did quite well. You launched two motorcycles last year, Tiger 900 and Rocket GT, or the Rocket range, I should say GT and the R, doing very well for you so far.
Yeah, and look, the Rocket obviously started out here. We just launched the bike and then lockdown happened. We managed to keep our Rocket numbers going for the year. And in fact, as I say, less than a year, so January's 11 months into Rocket sales, without the blip of no sales in between. And we'll deliver our 50th Rocket to a very happy Rocket owner this month in January. So that's unbelievable. I mean, it's a bike that is massive. It's a biggest capacity production motorcycle in the world, but it's an easy bike to ride, and it doesn't. It might scare people away in the beginning, but once you get on that bike and ride it, it's agile. It's it delivers that power in a seamless way, and it's very controllable. But you can also get a bit unruly on the bike, so that's brilliant. And then in July we had a virtual launch of the Tiger 900, which comes in a GT and a Rally Pro more sort of off-road bias version. The off-road bias version is obviously the best seller, but the GT Pro, being a slightly lower bike, magwheel version, gives customers already another option in terms of maybe not so tall riders and people that aren't going to go off-road.
Yes.
And that bike has done exceptionally well for us. So that helped us through 2020, which was a tough year. And it helped us hold our volumes from 2019, which was a nice thing to be able to do, and grow a little bit of market share, which was also good for us. The other thing we did in 2020, which was possibly seen as a bit of a crazy move at the time, but we opened Triumph Cape Town, which we opened in August 2020, and that business has just been going from strength to strength. It really has, and it was long overdue. And we probably did alienate a lot of our Cape clients, but we had to find a way to find the right formula to get back into Cape Town. And I suppose, like with anything, COVID and lockdown gave us all a bit of a chance to kind of revisit our models. And there we have it. Cape Town's been running for 5 months, and they're doing a really, really good job down there.
Like you said, I think with COVID, we've all had to strategize and do things easier and simpler and smarter. I've always been keen to see the difference between a Cape Town and the Joburg market. Joburg, I think, is more your RS, your street triple, your speed triple, go crazy, we want speed, and then up here. And I think Cape Town is always Thruxton, Bonneville, the more classical side. Do you see that difference in the market?
Yeah, we have seen a strong take-up on the classics and your Thruxtons and your Bonnevilles. But funny enough, the Tiger 900 is a bike that's done so well in Cape Town. I mean, I think the riding in Cape Town is exceptional.
Yeah,
so if you get out of Cape Town and you head up into the Cedarburg or whatever, and that 900 just delivers the best on-road and off-road experience. And then funny enough, Rocket. They're doing a couple of Rockets a month, and it's I can imagine that the power output down at the coast is a little bit better than up here. So I think the mix is good. And it's a bit early still to tell where it's going to settle down, but I think across the board, I mean, the clients are loving the scramblers, they're loving the street scramblers as well. And I think the good thing is that we've got every single bike available to ride down in Cape Town, so you can pretty much take your pick, make sure you're getting the right bike, and then make your decision from there.
I think that's the big thing. I mean, I tested the Rocket GT3 now for the first time. I'm not a cruiser rider by any means. And you can't even really put the cruiser tag on that bike because it's so much more. It's a cruiser, it's a sports bike, it's a do everything. So I can understand why your sales on that bike is doing well, because I was completely sold on that motorcycle. I think from the Triumph brand perspective, you must be really impressed with the range that you guys have to offer now. Like you said, Scrambler, Classical, Thruxton, you've got your Street Fighters in the 765, which is your Moto 2 kind of bike. You've got the Moto 2 Special. You've got Speed Triple. You've got adventure bikes, you've got cruisers. It just must be so much easier now trying to sell the Triumph brand than it was 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah, look, I mean, 10, 15 years ago was before my time, but certainly the range is good, the quality is good, and Triumph manufactures a premium motorcycle that kind of fits. We've got a bike that kind of does fit any kind of niche that you want, and even some of the bikes that kind of almost cross over. You know, you get a bike like the Speed Twin, the 1200, which has got the same high power output engine as the Thruxton R, but in a more laid back riding position, and it kind of gives you a performance bike that looks cool.
Yes.
So the mix and the range is incredible, and the good thing about it is, you know, from what I've seen in my 3 years with the brand, is that the new models coming at the right time, and the right kind of bike for the time. And you know, this year we've got an example really in quick succession with some new bikes being launched.
Before we touch on the new bikes heading into 2021, to cater for all these bikes that you're getting in these models, you've revamped your store here. Looks amazing, the Joburg store I'm talking about. Looks amazing. You're still revamping a little bit more with a pre-owned section coming. You've got an amazing sale on all apparel until February at the moment. But I love the workshop. I love how you've opened the workshop. Everyone can see in there. You've really made it a welcoming store. I know you were talking about a bigger premises somewhere else, but you've now looked, because of COVID, I presume, being smarter, you've looked at the premises you've had and you've made it work.
Yeah, look, as lousy as the COVID pandemic has been, it allowed for a bit of introspection and a bit of time to really give some thought to, you know, how we set up our business. And so we renegotiated the lease, funny enough, during the lockdown period on our building, and got into an agreement with the redevelopment of the site. So yes, we were going to move to a building up the road, which would have been a bit bigger, not much bigger, but what we've done with the space that we have here is use it really effectively. And we've set up the store according to Triumph's global UK standards, and it's allowed us to get more showroom space and create a workshop which is compact but efficient, visible to our clients, and you know, an element of transparency is always important for me, and deliver the clients the experience that we want them to have while they're shopping in our environment. So the clothing is distributed amongst the bikes. It's more relevant in terms of where it's positioned.
Yes.
And you know, with the clothing sale that we're running at the moment is really a clearance. We've got a new range of clothing arriving in April. I just want to make a bit of space. And I suppose, you know, there's some bargains to be had. Some of the stuff we've had in stock for almost a year, and it's time for it to move on to a happy home, and you know, that's the reason for the sale. But the customer experience is really also what it's about. I mean, you know, without blowing our own trumpet, I mean, we measure our satisfaction in terms of how our clients perceive the brand, and it's measured globally. And about a week or two ago, the guys in the UK got hold of me and they said, you know, Bruce, you guys are running second in the world.
Jeez.
In terms of customer satisfaction. And I think, well, you know, that's a credit to the team.
Definitely.
And I was chatting to somebody earlier this morning about it. It's really also a function of consistency.
Yes.
We haven't had any staff changes apart from one or two that were forced during, you know, our restructure earlier this year. We've got the same people here that we had 3 years ago. So same faces, same processes, and just trying our hardest to deliver on the promise that the client expects.
I think that confidence is there, and like you said, with the new showroom, it's looking fantastic. I get a good vibe walking in here. You've got everything laid out nicely. Heading into 2021, two exciting models, kind of on both ends of the spectrum of motorcycle riding. You've got Trident 660, which we've already had the test featured on. Looks like an absolutely fantastic bike. For 150,000 Rand, I think it was maybe a bike that the Triumph range was missing, and a rider that now you can now cater for. And then one of my favorites, one of my all-time favorites. I've been so excited for this bike. It's now lighter, faster, it's just better in every single way. Speed triple. Can't wait for these two bikes to arrive, and they're arriving soon, and at good price points. I think that's the important thing.
Yeah, I mean, with the Trident, in fact, today, they're loading my first batch of Tridents onto the ship. So we expect those to arrive during sort of the latter part of February, and we're hoping to launch that bike in March. At 150, it's not a cheap bike, but it's priced for what it is.
Yes.
At a really good price point. It is our entry level into the brand, and certainly, you know, it then completes the Roadster family. So you've got the 660 at 150, you've got the Street Triple RS at 180, and then we'll talk about the next bike just now. But the Trident gives us a whole new customer base to bring into the brand, and it might be a different rider. It might be somebody who's looking for something more practical, and it might be looking for somebody young who's looking for something really exciting. And the bike can offer both of those.
Yes.
It's got a great ride, it's a comfortable ride, and it gives you the performance and it gives you the sound of a true Triumph Roadster triple.
So you're getting that Triumph experience, but at the more, like you said, inviting new customers in without having to go the street or the speed triple route. I think that's what I like about it, because the Triumph experience to me has grown immensely with the clothing, with the Moto 2 tie-up there. So I think that Triumph experience, you're selling more than just a motorbike now.
Yeah.
You're doing the experience, I think, which is good. Which leads us to Speed Triple, which I think, you know, we say Triumph don't have a superbike in their range, but I think you actually do now.
You know, it was interesting watching the global launch yesterday, where, you know, they brought in an element of the Moto 2 discussion and the learnings that they got from Moto 2. As much as this bike from a capacity perspective is well above the 765, being a 1200. But they've taken the learnings out of it. It's a brand new bike. There is not a single component on this bike which carries over from the previous Speed Triple. I mean, it's a bigger capacity from a 1050 up to a 1200. The bike's 10 kilograms lighter than the outgoing bike, and the combination of those two factors gives you a power to weight ratio improvement of 27%, which is unbelievable.
Huge.
So the bike's more compact, it's narrower, it's more agile, it's, you know, every single element of that bike has improved. And again, at a price point of $259, which we got the pricing yesterday, it's an unbelievable bike. The naked street bike segment is an interesting one in South Africa, and it's you either love it or you hate it.
Yes, yeah.
But certainly it's something that, you know, we've moved away from the full fairing bikes with, you know, the outgoing Daytona. Who knows whether Triumph's going to come back to a, you know, super bike, sort of full fairing bike or not. But certainly these naked bikes do really, really well for us, and we compete heavily in the street triple segment, and we believe that we can do the same with the Speed.
So now, one of your big assets with both Cape Town and Joburg dealerships is the full range of bikes available to demo. I think that's a key factor, like you said. Come ride the bike, see which bike fits you best, because you've got such a wide model range, and then take it from there. Are you going to have Trident and new Speed Triple demos available?
Yes. Yeah. So, you know, we will have, once we've done our media launch on the Trident, we will have then bikes in Cape Town and bikes in Joburg for people to test. And the same goes for the Speed when that bike arrives. It's been our philosophy since day one that we will always have at least 18 to 20 bikes parked outside our Joburg store, so that you have a selection of what you need to ride. To me, there's no point in having, yes, we do have everything on the floor as well, but there's no point in having all the beautiful bikes on the floor, and then you say, well, I'd like to ride that one, and you say, well, you can't, but I've got a similar bike that you might be able to feel. It sounds different, but it's got the same engine. You can't do that. No. You've got to ride the bike. And we've done the same with Cape Town. So pretty much any bike in our range is available to ride in Cape Town. And, you know, if we don't have it in stock in Cape Town, we ship it from Joburg in 2 days.
Well, Bruce, thanks so much for chatting to us. Sounds like you guys are doing an amazing job. I love the new store, the new layout. Love the fact that you're in Cape Town. Love the Triumph range. I think one of the things I touched upon in the GT, Rocket GT test that I did, and now with the RS 765 Street Triple, is the build quality that's coming out of the British brand. So give it a try. They've got the full demo range available, Cape Town and Joburg. Try the Triumph experience. Like I said, you're buying more than just a motorcycle from Triumph these days. It's the whole brand experience. So yeah, Bruce, thanks so much, and good luck for the rest of the year.
Thanks, Rob.